Okay, so we've been doing the new exhaust here on the Cossie, and we've got a bunch of titanium sitting around, so we've been working on that. The downpipe got all made, 3-inch, it's stainless and converts to titanium right there, and you can see this thing's looking pretty good. Some of this piping's from our super exhaust, so it's actually already pre-ovalized for clearance. And we just got one more spot to make and connect right here, and it goes to a nice little can and a cool oval tip out the back. So we'll have some more shots here shortly, and of course do a full startup and everything. All right, got the Cosworth all strapped down here. I've got boost plumbed in and AFR in our new downpipe, so we can make sure it's all running clean. So now we're gonna do some calibration to make sure we are lined up. We'll do it in 3rd gear, a little 5-speed, and then we'll be able to give her some runs. Okay guys, got the car all unstrapped. I've learned a ton over the past couple days on the Cosworth. So you can see here, heat shield is off, got the big T35 turbo. So originally when I got this, the engine had its head studs, had its head gasket, and had a, air quotes, chip. And what it has is this weird thing called an electron or a Mall valve. It's kind of like a very old school boost controller that ties into the ECU. What we did was we immediately just ran this on the dyno so we could see what type of power does it make. I've read everything up and down, and it looks like these are making 20 to 25 PSI with the engine built, and it can handle it no problem. But we were running this and we were seeing boost taper off a tremendous amount. You can see here on the dyno. Okay, you can see this here on the dyno. We were seeing some crazy results here. For some reason the dyno's not showing, but 22 PSI, we're making a tremendous amount of power. That's this one right here. And torque. Torque was massive, 300. I wish we could drive every day like that, but it was going super lean. So it would come in like a normal car like this, and then it would start to go up. And we're talking 13.5, which is lean for a turbocharged car. It's usually where you want to see an NA car. So what we found out is the injectors that are in this car, there's 2 things you need to get more power, which we're gonna do. So these are the stock blue, there they are, blue injectors. And these things really are only good for about 13 PSI. And as well as you need to upgrade, if you're gonna go with the bigger injectors, they call them the 803s, the greens. And you need to also upgrade the map sensor, which is an old school looking thing. It's on the bottom of the intake manifold. To get more power like we see there, not running lean, we need to change those. But before that, we want to say, why was this thing making 22 PSI and falling down to 15? So we unplugged the electron valve. We had the stock wastegate on here, and we tested it at wastegate pressure only, and it was making 6 PSI out of the little plastic wastegate. And it was like driving an NA Escort. What we did was we grabbed from our old inventory of agency power parts, agency power wastegate, agency power diverter valve right here, and we set this 1 bar. So it's basically making almost 14, and then backed it out just a little bit. So it's about 0.8, 0.9 bar crack pressure, and Mighty Vac, it's called a Mighty Vac, and we're running it from the wastegate right to the compressor. And we ran that again, and we were coming in and having very safe AFRs with our Innovate AFR gauge, watching it come in again from about 13 and drop down. And we were running about 11.8 to 12, 12.1. Of course, we have much less power, which is evident right here. When that peak was hitting up with 22 PSI, you know, we were at 226, and with less boost, we're at 156. 70 horsepower difference, pretty insane. Up top here, we have a difference of 227 to, let's see, 187. So the car runs much safer right now, but we do have the upgrade path in process. That way we can reach the numbers and goals we want for the little Ford Escort RS here. So learned a lot. Car is safe to drive now. And our next step that we'll do is get some more power out of it. We've talked to an awesome couple guys on the Facebook groups. And from there, we'll start driving this thing. So here we go. So we pulled the Cossie off the dyno. We had to do some additional mods here. First thing was the fuel pump, because it only had a 340 in there and we needed more fuel coming through, more fuel pressure. So we put a Walbro 440 in there and then changed the plugs to some IK27s. So this should probably help. We're getting about 30 PSI, dropping down to around 20. And you can see on the curve that it just wasn't enough fuel. So got the new fuel pump in, got the plugs. Next thing is got to do some maintenance here. So you can see the radiator leaking right there. And these do have a small intercooler, and that intercooler up top there, you can see that only gets airflow from the front grille. All right, so you guys saw the dyno run, and we talked about doing the increased power here on the Cossie. So I finally got all the parts here, and we're gonna put these on. So the first thing is the 3-bar map sensor. This is direct from the guys at Graham Good in the UK. They say, get this one, not the one that's on eBay, the cheap kind of Chinese ones, I guess. I don't know the difference, but with this car, took their advice. So to get the power we want, we got to do the upgraded map sensor. We got to do the upgraded injectors. So for the power that we want to make, we had to do the grays, not the greens. And same thing is, didn't want to get the eBay greens, said those don't flow well. So we found an original set of the grays, bench tested them, everything. So now we got those 4 new injectors. And then finally, we've got the chip. And I've seen people make fun of the word chip, and this is a 93, it's not OBD2. This actually uses a chip that goes in the ECU. There it is. That is a microchip. So this will plug in to the ECU and replace the other one. This will also give us launch control. So we'll be shooting some fireballs and flames out of our exhaust. So there's our new parts. Once we get all these on, then we'll get it back to the shop and we'll do some dyno testing so you can see the increased power. So now it's time to install these. Look at that. We got the ECU out now. Gotta unplug it. And then we get to switch the chip. You can unscrew it, I think. Now I gotta open it. That's it. Magneti Morelli. Ready, set, ba-ba. There it is, old chip, ready for new chip. I don't know how to change chips.
Sue Collins.
Is that Sue Collins? What is this?
Baby chip.
Baby chip, big chip.
Big boy chip.
Yeah, that's like little corn chips. This is like full-on tortillas. Don't get electrocuted. All right, chip has been chipped.
Okay, we got that.
Ba-ba-da-ba, ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. All right, there's the difference. Got the stock one on the right, the new 3-bar one here on the left. Pretty much a giant pain in the butt. It has to come off upside down from that bracket. So now we're gonna put this one back on, and we are done with the second step into the conversion. So step 1, get the fuel rail off. Got the front bolt going. He's getting the back bolt. This is a 2-man job. We'll get these injectors out. Put those new ones in. Okay, we've got the Cossie over here on the dyno strapped down. It's warming up. We've got the new fuel pump. We've got the new radiator. Of course, the 3-bar, the injectors, the new tune is all in there. So now we're going to run it again and see if we can get the boost level to stay where we want, the power to stay where we want. So here it is. Let's get back to it. Let's do some runs. All right, so we did a couple runs. Again, we got the new Walbro 440 in there. And basically we're still dropping a ton of boost. We're going from about 30 to about 20. Got the wastegate, got the new chip, got everything in there. These things have what's called an amol valve, which is like a 90s technology of an electronic boost controller, but it's pretty crappy. So what we're going to do is we're first going to get a manual boost controller and try and set it so we make a good consistent 25 psi. And if that works and we're not losing boost, then we'll get rid of that amol valve and get a nice electronic boost controller. So this stage is really good for about 350 wheel horsepower, 400 foot-pounds of torque crank. And once you get up to 400, you kind of want to do a little bit more to strengthen the motor. So we're good about there. So next up, we'll get the boost controller tested out. All right, got the lip fitted here at the shop. Not bad. Definitely have to get some bolts and self-tappers and put a little tweak onto it. So once I get this back to the house, we're gonna grab the black silicone and put some nice beads there to help fill in a little bit of the gappage. But overall, nothing to complain about. Got the cam cover and the turbo heat shield installed too. Another update here is the alternator needs to be replaced because we're not holding voltage. We even got rid of that battery and put in a new Optima over there. So, we got 13 volts while we're driving, but cranking is hard to do. So don't know how the alternator is. Got a new one from the guys at Graham Good. So I got a brand new alternator right there. And we are gonna throw that in. I got the bolt out there, so now we can move this alternator just a little bit. And I'm sure somehow now we got to get the bolt that holds on the bracket and slide this thing out. So pretty soon we'll be able to get the new one on. Just a little bit more here. Pulley's on. Now I just gotta get it in there. So much fun.